Okay, so I'm redoing this video. I already did this once, but I'm going to do it again. So if I have some footage that cuts back and forth from the last video, I apologize, but I lost some stuff. Anyway, I want to do a quick review of this watch I got today. And I just put my daughter to bed, and I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, what do I do now? And I could clean the kitchen, which I'll do later. But I got this gift today, and I thought this would be a really good opportunity to do a first review. So as many of you know, in my last video I said that I'm leaving my job in education after 27 years, and I've been a headmaster for the past 9 years. And so today I went into work and to drop my daughter off and to do some stuff and then come home and pack. But when I went to my office, I found this on my table, on my desk. And it was a gift from a parent who has been very supportive of me over the past 6 years and very nice. And I'm not going to say what the letter says. But anyway, long story short, it was a really nice letter thanking me for my time there. And it was a watch. Here it is. Which I find really funny because I've recently sort of stepped away from the watch world and said I'm not going to be a watch person. And then I get this watch. I get this box today. And it forces me to relook at the sort of watch world. So here's what I got. And for full disclosure, I've already opened it and I've already worn it. I actually wore it all day today. And that'll be part of my review. And so, you know, if you're looking at my hands right now, you can see them. They're covered in black. So today I rotated my tires and I fixed my bumper. A few months ago, I backed over or rolled over a piece of rebar and then backed off, and it ripped my front bumper off. So today I was in there with some epoxy and I was rebuilding all the mounting points so I could affix the skid plate so that when I drive across country, I can go more than 45 miles an hour without it flying off. So that's why my fingers are all black. So I say that because I think that's a big part of this review, which is I got this watch this morning, and after spending about an hour with it and just kind of thinking about what it meant to me personally, I put it on and went to work. And so I'll talk about that later. But so here it is, a Nomos. I don't know exactly what model it is. I can tell you when I get it. But this is what found me. It was a black case, Nomos. Here it is. And when I first opened it up, I thought maybe it was some kind of mechanical thing, like I don't know. It didn't. It made me think of like old mechanical tools. You know, something from like seafaring days or something. I don't know what it was, but I didn't really know what it was, and I didn't know the Nomos brand. So I opened it up, and there it was. Oh, the watch. So I'll be honest, when I first looked at it, I don't want to say unimpressed, but just sort of oh, it's a cute little watch. And then I quickly put it back, and I put it back in the bag. And I went to work and I did some work, and then a couple hours later I was able to take it out again, and I took it out again. And I was like, wow, that's a really interesting presentation. And I took it out, and I'll be honest. At first I was like, I took this piece out right here, and I was like, how does this come off? How do you get that out? There's a snap. They put a snap right there. So I took the watch out, and I'll be honest. At first I was unimpressed. It was thin and kind of fancy, and it was light. And you know, that's the back right there. See if we can get. Let's see if we can get some zooming in. So that's the back, and there wasn't a lot of lume. Like, it didn't strike me as it honestly struck me as kind of a, you know, just a fancy watch that didn't have a lot of value other than being fancy. So I put it down, and I did some work around the house, and I came back to it. And I looked at the band, and I thought, wow, that's kind of a funny band to put on an expensive watch. And I thought, like, I wonder how much this goes for. Like, I wonder what kind of, what is this, how expensive is this watch? So I went online, I was like, whoa, it's actually not a cheap watch. And you can go online and you can figure out how much that is, but it's the Ahoi brand, A-H-O-I, with the date. And then I looked at the back and I was like, wow, it's waterproof to 20 atmospheres. Huh, interesting. So I put it on. So I went on and I took it and I put it on. So let me get it on, let me get it on. Pow, there it is. So there it is. That's the watch. It's on the wrist. And there it sat for the next 5 or 6 or 7 hours. And I played around with it. I fixed the car. You know, by the way, my hands are a lot cleaner than they were just a few hours ago. But I fixed the car. I emptied out some planters in the backyard. I played with the dog. I cleaned the dog. I fed the dog. You know, and then I actually went online and I looked at the specs of this watch, and it was, you know, like, wow, it's a tool watch. So what is my review of this watch? What are my final statements? You know, I'm not a watch guy. I mean, I own a lot of watches. I actually don't own a lot of watches now. I've sold off most of them. But I've owned a lot of watches in my life, and I'll have to admit, for the past 6 months, my daily wear has been this, the Garmin 935. But before that, it was a Chris Ward custom day-date Trident. And, you know, I have to admit that there's a lot, I feel like there's a lot in common between these two watches. And what I mean by that is, as I've been rethinking my whole life and my job and my profession, I've also kind of been like the watches. I think your watch is as the only piece of jewelry that a man can wear, starts to reflect, you know, what are your decisions, what are your choices you're making in life. And, you know, I think I went to the Garmin a few months ago because it reflects just utility. It's about just getting the job done. And I, by the way, I really like this watch, and at some point I will do a review on it. But the review today is for the Nomos. And I guess I would say this, that, you know, this isn't a watch that is, man, how do I put it? It's not a watch that is going to win any awards for complexity. Just the opposite. It's going to win awards for simplicity. It's, you know, you look down, it tells the time. There it is. What time is it? You know, it's 7:35. There it is. Let me get the focus on that. It's 7:35. This is a watch that, it's pretty. It's rugged. It's attractive. It's a tool watch. You can wear it fixing the car, or running the tractor, chopping wood. You know, as I was giving my daughter a bath tonight, I was in the back of the toilet because it was running, and I was fixing the toilet with this on. So this is like this is a watch that I have to admit I'm really impressed by, which is it looks really, it's very attractive, it's very handsome, and I would go into any meeting wearing this watch, and yet I can be fixing a toilet or fixing my car with it and not feel like I'm going to break it or destroy it. So for full disclosure, this watch was a gift, and I honestly don't know what they go for new, but I'm guessing, if I were a betting man, I'm guessing between $2,000 and $4,000 based upon what you're getting on this. So is it worth $2,000 to $4,000? I don't know. I can't say that. I can't speak for you. But what I can say is that this morning I woke up and this watch was not part of my life, and now it is. And I really like it. I'm surprisingly impressed by it and surprisingly impacted by how much I like it. And I wasn't even thinking about watches this morning, and now here I'm doing a review of them. So anyway, so here it is, the Nomos watch. If you have any questions or you want me to talk about anything more, I will say the one thing I'm kind of unimpressed with, I wouldn't say unimpressed, but just sort of frustrated, is changing the date, I'm sorry, yeah, the date is not as easy as I think I don't want to say it should be, or I would say what I'm used to. But other than that, man, it's a really, we'll see. I'll give a follow-up review in coming months. But my first impressions, if you get your hands on one, yeah, get it, put it on your wrist, and enjoy. So, good night.